The Winter Holiday Event Part 1 is starting. We've got a new family of Pokemon coming to Pokemon Go and some new costume Pokemon as well. The event will run from Monday, December 18th at 10 a.m. to Monday, December 25th at 10 a.m. A bit different here is these Winter Holiday events end at 10 a.m. instead of 8 p.m. like most other multi-day events. Now in terms of bonuses, we will be able to choose double XP or double Stardust for catching Pokemon. Now Stardust is always a good choice no matter your level, but if you really want to level up before the end of the year or you need the XP for those level-based timed research, then you might want to go with the XP boost. Those 5 battle passes from that level 40 research is a pretty decent reward, so if you have time to grind, you might want to work on hitting level 40 if you're not there yet. And then we're also going to get increased XP and Stardust from opening gifts. Looking at the research, we're going to have field research that rewards encounters, including Pikachu wearing holiday attire, Alolan Sandshrew, Shelder, Jinx, Lapras, Delibird wearing a holiday ribbon, Spiel wearing a holiday scarf, Snover, Glaceon wearing an undersea holiday outfit, Vanillite, Cubchoo with the ribbon, and Crabrawler. And everything on here except for Vanillite and Crabrawler can be shiny. Shiny Vanillite looks like it's coming in the Part 2 event, so I definitely wait until then to hunt Vanillite. There's also going to be a timed research that is free and available to everyone. This will be a branching timed research that grants bonus-based wishes, so you pick between 2 times XP for catching Pokemon or 2 times Stardust for catching Pokemon, and that path you choose will determine which bonus and tasks you have for the entire event. And it also says no matter which wish you pick, all trainers who complete the research will receive items and encounter winter-themed Pokemon. And they also note that this timed research will last through both events. So it doesn't just cover Part 1, it covers Part 2 as well. In what is becoming classic Niantic fashion, there is also going to be a bunch of paid timed research. So the first one is a $2 ticket, and this will grant you access to a 2-part timed research that again covers both winter holiday events, so Part 1 and Part 2. In terms of the rewards for Part 1, there will be again event-themed Pokemon encounters, such as Spiel wearing the holiday scarf, Cryogonal and Psyduck wearing holiday attire, and 2 premium battle passes. Part 2 will again include those event-themed Pokemon encounters, including Psyduck wearing the holiday attire and Cubchoo wearing a holiday ribbon, and 2 more premium battle passes. Now, if you're watching this and Holiday Part 1 has already ended, 1, you probably want to go watch my Holiday Part 2 video, and 2, you can still buy this research and complete Part 1 even though it's over. There's also going to be a $5 timed research ticket. This one will get you a pose, plus it is going to get you 2 times candy for catching Pokemon, and again, more encounters with event-themed Pokemon, such as Pikachu wearing holiday attire, Delibird wearing a holiday ribbon, and Psyduck wearing holiday attire. These kind of timed research that award a pose, basically what you're paying for is the pose, everything else is a bonus. So if you want the pose, by all means get it this way instead of buying it in the shop, because you'll get some bonuses with it. If you don't want the pose, then probably skip it. And Niantic also really wanted to remind you that you can purchase both tickets in case you were confused about that. Don't think anybody was, but if you were, you can. The other important thing to note here is that these timed research end on December 31st. If you don't complete them or claim all your rewards by that time, they are gone. And then also in field research, you're going to be able to get tasks that will earn you Mega Energy for Mega Abomasnow and Mega Glalie. So if you have an Abomasnow and or Glalie that you want to Mega, but you don't have enough energy, this is a good way to do that without having to complete raids. All right, so for the wild spawns for this event, we are going to have a new costume Pokemon that is a costume Pikachu wearing holiday attire. We're also going to have Alolan Sandshrew, Seal, Eevee wearing a holiday hat, Swinub, Stantler wearing a holiday outfit, Spiel wearing a holiday scarf, Galarian Darumaka, Cryogonal, Bergmite, and the new Pokemon to Pokemon Go, Cetoddle. And Cetoddle evolves into Cetitan. Cetitan won't be in the wild, but once you get enough candies, you will be able to evolve Cetitan. We'll talk about its meta-relevancy in a little bit, but there are also going to be rarer encounters for Sneasel, Piloswine, and Amara. Lots of shinies here to hunt as well, as everything except for Cetata and the Piloswine and the rarer spawns can be shiny. Next up, we have the raids. In 1-star raids, we are going to have that Pikachu wearing holiday attire again, Alolan Sandshrew, Spiel wearing a holiday scarf, Crabrawler, and Cetoddle. Niantic also noted that the Pikachu wearing holiday attire will have a higher shiny rate from the raids than it does in the wild. They're not exactly being forthright with how big that shiny boost will be, so I wouldn't go crazy until we get a better idea, but it will have higher shiny odds in the raids. Then in 3-star raids, we're going to have Dugong, Lapras, Stantler wearing a holiday outfit, and Glaceon wearing an undersea holiday outfit, and everything in the 3-star raids except for Dugong can be shiny. There are also going to be 2-kilometer event eggs, and the hatch pool for that is going to include Eevee wearing a holiday hat, Smoochum, Galarian Darumaka, and Amara, all of which can be shiny. And again, they are noting that Eevee wearing a holiday hat that is hatched from eggs will have a greater chance of being shiny than the one found in the wild. Now, eggs are classically not a good way to hunt shinies. Not sure how big this boost will be. So again, if you're not a person who is into hatching eggs, then you probably want to stick to hunting it in the wild anyways. There will also be stickers featuring the event-themed Pokemon, as well as the new Pokemon Cetoddle. And you're also going to want to get your double XL Squirtles ready, because we are going to have showcases, and maybe they will be event-themed showcases, or maybe they will be Squirtle showcases. Who knows? Okay, let's talk about the meta relevancy of some of these Pokemon now, starting with the one that's making its Pokémon GO debut during this event, and that is Cetoddle, which evolves into Cetitan. Now, Cetitan has an attack stat of 208, a defense of 123, and a stamina of 347 with a max CP of 3,519. As you can see, the stamina on this beast is getting up there with the likes of Blissey, with a slightly lower HP stat, but a higher attack stat. Still, it doesn't have any use as a raid attacker, and in PvP, this land whale is ranking number 75 in the Master League right now with Ice Shard, Avalanche, and Body Slam. However, that's likely due to its bulky HP stat, Ice-type moveset, and the prevalence of dragons in the Master League. So how will it actually run in that league? The answer is probably not good, and there are definitely better choices with more coverage for taking down dragons. That being said, it is the only Pokemon in the main series game that can learn Ice Spinner. Now, the effects of Ice Spinner won't port over to Pokemon GO, but it could maybe help Cetitan out in a future update for a community day. Either way, it's going to need a move update of some kind to make it useful. All right, next up, let's look at the ones that are useful as raid attackers. We're going to have Spheal in the wild, which does evolve into Walrein. However, it's going to have the holiday scarf, so it can't evolve yet, but it can be shiny. The evolution might come later, plus you can still farm candies from it. Now, Walrein has an attack stat of 182, a defense of 176, and a stamina of 242 with a max CP of 3,081. In terms of PvE, it is an okay budget option for Ice-type raid attackers, but there are better options in the next 2 Pokemon I'll talk about. However, Walrein is a bit of a PvP beast, seeing play in all the open leagues. In the Great League, its Shadow does rank higher, but I personally had fun with my non-Shadow, which does retain a little bit more of its bulk. And while its base stats do leave something to be desired once you hit the Master League, those 2 Calm Day moves that it gets helps it out quite a bit. However, that does make it very pricey in terms of elite TMs. So if you're just getting a Walrein now and you want it to be as useful as possible in PvP, you are going to need to use an elite fast TM and an elite charge TM to get it its preferred moveset. All right, next up we have Swinub, which evolves into Mamoswine. Mamoswine has an attack stat of 247, defense of 146, and stamina of 242 with a max CP of 3,763. In terms of raid attacking, the Shadow does rank higher, but it is an amazing Ice-type attacker at number 5 and a decent Ground type at number 13, even without the attack boost from Shadow. You can also run it in the Master League for sure, but as an Ice and Ground type, you will need to protect it as it doesn't have many resistances. But that Stone Edge and High Horsepower are a nice addition to give it some coverage for its Ice-type moveset. Next up, we have Galarian Darumaka, which evolves into Galarian Darmanitan. This is a great one to see in the wild. It is pretty rare. Usually you're only hatching it from eggs, so it will be nice to be able to farm candies from this. Hopefully it's not too rare a spawn. It's not listed in the rare spawn, so it should be decently common. Now, Galarian Darmanitan has an attack of 263, defense of 114, a stamina of 233, and a max CP of 3,511. It is a great Ice-type raid attacker to fill out your Ice roster. It ranks number 4 overall, including Megas and Shadows with Ice Fang and Avalanche. I personally like using my shiny Galarian Darmanitan in raids. It's fun to throw out there and looks pretty wild on the field. Next up, we have Eevee with the Holiday Hat, which can evolve into its usual forms in Pokemon GO. So that includes Sylveon, which is a good Fairy-type attacker, ranking at number 7. Again, good for taking down dragons, as well as Dark types in raids. Sylveon has the base stats of 203 for attack, 205 for defense, 216 for stamina, and a max CP of 3,470. You can also run it in the Master League, again, because there are so many dragons. Also good at taking down fighters, and right now it's ranking at number 95 in the Master League. Eevee can also evolve into Umbreon, and Umbreon is good in the Great League and the Ultra League, especially the Premier Cup. It's pretty bulk focused, but for Ultra League, you'll have to take it to level 50 and get that best buddy boost to get the most out of Umbreon. In terms of stats, it has an attack of 126, a defense of 240, a stamina of 216, and a max CP of 2,416, which is again why you need to take it all the way to level 50 and get the best buddy boost. In terms of moves, Last Resort is the suggested legacy move for PvP, but don't overlook the second legacy move, Psychic, for coverage against fighting types if your team comp needs that. And then Eevee can also evolve into Glaceon, and Glaceon will also be out with its own Undersea holiday outfit. So if you want 2 Glaceons in different outfits to throw into raids, it is a decent ice type raid attacker. It's not great, there's better out there, but if you want the costumes to throw in, you might want to get one of each. We also have Snover from the field research, which evolves into Abomasnow. Abomasnow has a Mega in the game, and Mega Abomasnow is a decent ice type raid attacker, coming in at number 7. In Mega form, it has an attack stat of 240, a defense of 191, a stamina of 207, and a max CP of 3,850. Now again, there are better ice type raid attackers available. However, if you don't have a Mega for this, you might want to get one just to Mega for the Dex entry, or if you like to have variety in your roster, then you might want to get it and actually use it for raids. Otherwise, you might want to focus on getting an Abomasnow for the Ultra League. It is ranking number 48 in the Ultra League right now with no legacy moves needed. Now that grass and ice dual typing means it is an ice type that can go up against water types and a grass type that can both destroy other grass types and go up against flyers, giving your team a decent amount of coverage in one Pokemon. Now in terms of Great League, the Shadow does rank significantly higher there, but you can do some damage with the non-Shadow still. All right, that covers all the Pokemon that might have usefulness as raid attackers. Let's look at the ones that are strictly for PvP now, starting with Lapras from the raids and the field research. Now the thing with Lapras is it has 3 different legacy moves, including the fast move Ice Shard and the charge moves Ice Beam and Dragon Pulse. The Ice moveset being the most desirable for Ultra and Master League, combined with Surf to take advantage of the Water-Ice dual typing. That moveset will make him spammy, but it also makes him expensive, again requiring 2 elite TMs to get him PvP ready. So if you've got one with the moves and you need candy, definitely go out and get those. If you don't, this is kind of an expensive one, so unless you really like Lapras, really want to run it in PvP, you can probably skip it, or just focus on hunting the shiny. Next up, we have Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash boasts a lot of resistances, which makes it quite nice for PvP. It has an attack of 177, a defense of 195, a stamina of 181, and a max CP of 2,750. Now you do want the legacy fast move Shadow Claw, which was just available during the catch-up Calm Day, and generally the Shadow variant is better. Personally, A-Slash has been a staple for me this season, trying to complete my level 44 requirements in GBL, and with Medicham dropping off, it is a bit safer to run now as well. However, keep in mind that both Fighting and Fire do 256% damage, so have answers to both of those on your team to protect Alolan Sandslash. And then we'll also have Seal, which evolves into Dugong. Now Dugong doesn't have the beefiest stats, with an attack of 139, defense of 177, stamina of 207, and a max CP of 2,245, which means it is limited to the Great League, ranking number 93 with its 2 legacy moves Ice Shard and Ice Wind, and that Drill Run for coverage. Its low max CP really limits any use beyond Great League though, so that's all you really need to worry about, is getting one for Great League and you're set for Dugong. All right, that pretty much covers the meta relevancy for everything. I didn't touch on things like Bergmite, which evolves into Avalugg, and Amara, which evolves into Aurorus. Avalugg can be a decent ice type raid attacker, but again, there is so much better out for that right now. I would focus on the other ones. And Aurorus does have some play in PvP, but because of its ice rock typing, it has a lot of weaknesses, particularly a lot of double weaknesses, so you really have to know how to use it to run it. Its moveset does give it some decent coverage. All right, that's it for meta relevancy. Let's get into a few tips for this event. As you can see, it is definitely a heavily ice focused event. Most of the meta relevant Pokemon have ice typing. Definitely Mega Evolve an ice type, so that would be Mega Glalie or Mega Abomasnow. That way you're going to be able to maximize your candies. This will also be a good time to work on your ice type Platinum medal if you haven't finished that. Lots of ice types out there to catch. There are also going to be a lot of different types of Pokemon out in raids, so if you're still working on that Rising Star medal, which requires you to defeat 150 different species of Pokemon in raids, you could also work on that one. And then with the event-themed holiday Pikachu spawning, you can also work on that Pikachu fan where you need to catch 1,000 Pikachu if you haven't finished that one yet. In terms of showcases, those are something I definitely try to participate in. They are, in my opinion, the best new feature added to the game because they offer the best rewards out of the new features, but that's really only applicable if you are ranking in the top 3 in showcases. And to do that, you want to go to showcases that are in less busy areas. So that could be in more rural areas, but it can also be in the city. Just look for areas that don't see as many Pokemon Go players coming by. So generally there will be less stops and less gyms there. If you can find a showcase in an area like that and get in it, you are more likely to rank higher as there will be less competition. Some people also like to do the sniping. This is where you put in a lower ranking Pokemon, wait until just before the showcase ends, and then swap in a higher ranking Pokemon. The problem with this is you risk forgetting, getting a crappy ranking, and getting terrible rewards. So personally, I try to go to the less busy showcases, throw in my highest Pokemon right away, and see where that gets me. And I do often get in the top 3 doing that, and I've even won 4 or 5 showcases within a busy city doing it this way. As usual, the winter holiday events are an ice-focused event. My main goal will be candies for Mamoswine and Galarian Darmanitan, especially Galarian Darmanitan, as that is not common to see out in the wild, so having it spawning in the wild and not as a rare spawn is definitely going to be a good chance to farm those candies. I'm also a bit of a sucker for costume Pikachu, so I will be hunting that new shiny. Not the best costume Pikachu in my opinion, but it is pretty cute with that holiday outfit. Give the video a like if you found it useful. It does help me reach a wider audience. Subscribe if you want more Pokemon Go news, tips, and live streams. If you want more Pokemon Go content right now, check out the video on the left or the one on the right. Happy hunting, and we'll see you in the next one, friends.
I've got something incredibly funky.